All right, it is the SPFL weekend wrap up, game week 4. Going to start to make a little theme of this, get that in the title, so you guys that see this and tune along, we keep that consistency going and do that for the Premier League ones on the subscription service. Then we got to start off with Hearts, right? I'm not doing the old firm. That was part of the other video that I did, the weekend wrap up video. So if you're interested in watching it, go ahead and check that one out. But Hearts last minute winner again. We know all the chat. We're not going to go over it again, that what Tony Bloom has said he wants to do with Hearts and try and do this season. But it's huge. It's absolutely huge for them. And, I think that's McInnes said that's 3 away games that they've come from behind now. You feel with McInnes, he just has that aura to him a little bit. I've just literally finished watching his press conferences right this second, just hit pause on the telly just as it finishing, just listening to him talk about it. You just feel like as a manager, like you get behind him as a fan. He talks about the game exactly how it is. When they're poor, he says why. He doesn't try to sugarcoat it. There's been a lot of talk about, done a lot of the videos on managers nowadays using big words and stuff like that, and he just doesn't do that. He just seems like he's a down-to-earth kind of guy that would be sitting in the stands with you and just understands football from a simplistic level, as well as obviously being able to change the game and tactically be good, which he did do in this game. But I listened to all these games or watched the BBC Sports Sound on Saturday, so it's obviously, unfortunately, you don't get to watch a lot of the Scottish games on telly all the time. And it was just chaos when the Hearts goal went in. It was absolutely massive. There was obviously other late drama with Motherwell, which I'll get into in a minute. But Hearts are just grinding results out. That's them tied top of the table. They've got 10 points with Celtic. And look, we all seen it last season with Aberdeen, and everyone got a bit excited. And obviously they pushed it as far as they could go. But I don't know. I think McInnes has been around the league enough. He knows it. He's going to know it better than the Aberdeen manager did. He knows what it takes. The real football, as we said, starts after the second international break. That's when the real football starts. You're playing week in, week out. Hearts are out the League Cup, which will be a stinger for them. It will hurt for them. But I think ultimately might be a bit of a blessing in disguise. Just kind of focus on the league at the moment until the Scottish Cup runs around. Try and make a run at it in the Scottish Cup, but they absolutely should do. There's no Europe for them. So I think it could be a really, really good first year for McInnes. I really do. The signings they made are excellent. Braga obviously gets the goal, the first goal, and no, he doesn't get the first goal. He hits the post, doesn't he? But Braga for me is going to be the first player that probably is going to go, and it's going to be one of those Heart fans that you're going to have to just live with this Moneyball approach, because if he does really well and teams from England see him or abroad see him and he fancies going there, it's hard to keep people in Scotland, right? I think McInnes can be a lure in trying to keep you there with the type of manager he is, but I think he's going to be first to go in the whole kind of Moneyball thing to try and make a profit on him and then spin it and get guys back. He just looks a real high quality level attacker. I'll be honest with you, he looks better than any of the attackers that Rangers or Celtic have. He definitely does. Like, he looks like he would suit them to a T. And obviously, talk about going abroad. What if one of those two come in for him? And Hearts are going to have to be careful of that with this whole approach if they're trying to break the old firm. But yeah, he looks absolutely excellent. Everything is just clicking. Let me just see what I've put notes wise in terms of the actual game. Just making sure this is still recording. I mean, McInnes said they started off really too slow in the first half. I tell you what, how much better is Livingston's pitch, though, by the way? I know it's still AstroTurf, but it looks so much better than the one they had before. I had to double check it the last couple of times they've played and been like, is that actually turf? Because it looks so much better. But yeah, they start off slow, as McInnes said. They do get better in the second half. Xander Clark again for the opening goal. Should he do a bit better? He's maybe unsighted, maybe given the benefit of the doubt, but I think because he's made so many errors so far this season, you kind of question that a little bit more. And I know they brought the keeper in from Germany, so it's an interesting one. Craig Gordon is the backup. You can't obviously bank on him being too fit and being ready and raring to go at his age anymore. So it's a little bit of a concern for me in Hearts. You always need a keeper that's going to be good for you at the back, and Xander Clark has been brilliant, like I've said, but he really is he's starting to make a few errors this season, which isn't good. So a little bit poor for the first goal. Maybe you can kind of give him a bit of benefit of the doubt. It's a bit unlucky for the equaliser where it kind of gets fired in. The boy does really well, fires it in. kind of comes off the delivery boy's head and goes past the keeper and into the net. So they get that for the equaliser. Braga then hits the post when it's 1-1. I don't know how he misses that later on in the game. It's an open goal. He hits the post. He should be taking that. And then it's a great finish to make it 2-1. And it's a great little move from Hearts as well to go ahead and do that. It's poor from Livy as the ball bounces off their own players, and then Hearts make the most of it in the last moment. And look, this McInnes team's going to fight to the end, and Hearts are going to need that. And it's going to be, it's obvious, but it's all about consistency, really, isn't it? And especially if you're wanting to maintain that level to try and come second, right? I don't think they're going to get first. I really do think Celtic walk the league, no problem, as poor as they are. But if they want to get second, they're going to have to keep grinding results out. And I'm going to get into this with the rest of the league in a second, because the level is actually really good. Watching all the highlights from the weekend, the level is really, really good. It's got a lot better. There's a lot of quick, intricate play. Hearts have a chance to do it this season. I know everyone's like, here we go again, another chat about breaking the two, but they do. Rangers are poor. It's not going to be Celtic. Rangers are poor, and with everything I've just said about McInnes and how they're looking and the types of players like Braga, they're gonna have to try and make sure they're there to take the opportunity to do it. So it's about consistency. It's about getting wins. It's about not losing. These late winners are good. They started off really quick in the first game against Aberdeen. I praise them for that, but they've started off slow in other games. You know, the 3-0 down to Motherwell the week before. They obviously have the dramatic comeback there. So they've got the fight. They've got the desire in there to be a team that's not going to be easy to play against and that's not going to drop a lot of points. But they just need to keep the consistency going. And I thought getting knocked out of the League Cup might just be a bit of a momentum killer, but it's not. They've kept it going. They've picked themselves back up, and that's one of the best things about football, is that, you know, ultimately there's always another game and you can continue to do that. So Hearts and McInnes, the ones I'm watching the closest, absolutely, this season. I love watching his press conferences. He's absolutely brilliant with that. First game of highlights I watched was Aberdeen against Falkirk. That shock result of the weekend for me. I know Aberdeen obviously have their European games on Thursday, and they've struggled with that balance a little bit. It's really not a good start at all for Aberdeen, and they kind of batter Falkirk until the red card goes through for Devlin. It's maybe a bit harsh, but he does follow through. He does catch him a bit high, so I don't think he's got too much complaints, unfortunately, for VAR. The quality for the Falkirk goal is really, really good. It's quick, intricate play, one-touch passing in around the box. You can tell they've worked on that in training. Really, really sharp, and like I just said there, we're seeing a lot more of that in the Scottish game. I really am, especially last season and into the start of this season. It's not the league that you perceive it to be in your head. It really isn't. If you're not someone that watches it consistently week in, week out, there's a lot more quality there, and there's a lot more coaches that are playing in a way that, I don't want to say like, it's not like the right way or anything, but just like they're getting the ball down a little bit more. They're playing to the players. I think the way that players enjoy playing more, right? We all enjoy playing more. If you're getting the ball on the ground, you're moving it around, you're getting touches on it, you're not lumping it forwards. Everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses, and the league's getting a lot better. And had a big chat about this in my group chat with my mates after Rangers and Celtic go out and talking about the state of the Scottish football and stuff like that. It is going to take someone to break the old firm for people to want to come and invest, right? That's what it's going to take, because right now you're looking at the league thinking, why should I invest? And Tony Bloom's gone and done that with Hearts. So it is going to take that for people to take a bit of notice and go, I want to invest here. Hibs have obviously got that as well. I know Aberdeen a little bit too. But for the rest of the league, there's quality there. There absolutely is quality there. And if you're playing that quality level of football, and it's actually quite enjoyable to go and watch, even if you do lose games, fans are going to show up and they're going to want to play it, and they're going to want to watch the game, They're going to want to watch it. So the quality is really, really high level, and that's one thing I picked up again just from watching all the highlights and stuff like that over the course of the weekend. Like I said, just using that Falkirk goal as the example, it was a great goal. It really, really was, and it's a great result for Falkirk. Hibs draw with St Mirren again. I think Hibs are keeping the consistency going really well. They've obviously had their battles in Europe, and they've been really unfortunately in a few heartbreaks, but they're not losing games, Hibs, and David Gray's done a great job there, and I know they're sitting in third. They're on 5 points, 5 off of Hearts and Celtic. But again, another team that should be looking to try and get ahead of Rangers if they can. Absolutely, Hibs have got that quality there. It's a poor goal to concede from the free kick. The ball comes in. It's just poor defending. I know they check for offside, but it just hits the St Mirren's boy's body. He's not even. I don't think he's trying to even push it in the goal, and it just goes in. So they won't want that a little bit switching off. Then Hibs go and score a little set piece of their own. Like I said, great consistency. I really like Bowie. I really like Josh Mulligan. They're two really good pairs. Hibs are really, really athletic and quite strong, and have added a bit of like athleticism to the game, which I think has lacked in the Scottish game alongside the technical side of things, which I've just said. So both are massively improving. It's not handball for me right at the very, very end of the game. The boy's too close to the St Mirren defender when the Hibs player kicks it. It's not a handball, unfortunately. It really isn't. Motherwell and Killie again, another good game. Like, Motherwell play some really, really good stuff. They need to try and start getting some wins, because like I said, it's all fine and well playing good stuff and feeling like it, but if you continue just to draw, right, or you don't continue to get wins in there, the wane and the belief of the players will start to slip. So they just need to kind of try to turn it into some results, Motherwell. But really, again, really good. Another manager that's come in, Andy Halliday, talks about him really well on open goal, so it's going to be interesting to keep watching them. It's a good goal from Killie to go, one up. The ball goes wide. It's really, really similar to Liverpool's winner against Newcastle, to be honest. It's a quick ball in. Boy lays it back. He plays it out to the winger, cuts it back. Boy rolls over it, little dummy, back post there and tap in. Really is not too dissimilar from Rio's winner against Newcastle the other day. So it's another good goal from Killie there. Again, a little bit of quality that I'm talking about. And yeah, just overall, I think they're just will hurt Motherwell not to have won another game, especially after going 2-1 up. They're going to need to start to turn the quality play into results before it starts to dip and the enthusiasm starts to go for what they're doing, because, as I've always said, it is about winning football matches. Dundee United derby, it's always a great one. As I said before in the video, I've been to one. It was absolutely class. The atmosphere looked amazing. It's always a good derby. I'm asking questions of the Dundee keeper for the first goal. Like, he looks like he's looking at his defenders to ask what's going on there, but I'm questioning you there, lad. I don't think that's the greatest from you. And he almost gives it away playing out the back a little bit later on, so it's a bit dodgy from him there. Dundee United, based on all the highlights, looked like they absolutely battered them. Unfortunately, couldn't watch that game. I like watching those Dundee derbies. As I said, they're always a good quality. So from highlights wise, I don't know if you obviously watched that game. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it did look like Dundee United did kind of batter them there. And yeah, there's no better feeling than a derby win, especially away from home. You can tell the Dundee United fans are loving that, and fair play to them, and it's a really, really good weekend. So look, that'll do it. I think these videos are always going to be typically a bit quicker, especially on weekends where you've not got the Old Firm games in there to talk about, and it's hard just because if you're not at the game, you're typically watching just highlights, and that's all you can get of it, just quick kind of 5-minute highlights and stuff like that. But we'll keep these coming on a weekly basis. I really, really do think Hearts and Hibs, I really do think you've got a chance this year if you can keep the momentum up, if you can keep it going. It gets hard as we get into the winter months. Rangers still do have a bit of a DNA of being able to grind it out, because that's what's expected there, and the fans won't accept any less. But if it goes tits up a little bit with Russell Martin and they keep him too long and the fans aren't happy, and then they sack him and they get someone in, you just never know. And the quality is there for Hearts and Hibs to try and be pushing to do that, and of course go for a cup run absolutely as well in there. But let's aim for second, boys. Come on, let's see if we can break it. And if we do get that break, I think you're going to see more people invest in the Scottish League, and it's only going to be better for the whole betterment, including Rangers and Celtic, by the way. I do mean that. Old Firm fans, if you watch this or hear this, you might think that I'm against you guys or whatever. Not at all. It just, if someone breaks it, it's the betterment of the league, and I don't have any skin in the game in the league, and I would like to see that, and I think we're getting close to it. I really, really do. So these will go up every week. I know the Open Goal boys are out on a Tuesday, so this is going to be out Tuesdays for now. I might try and kind of maybe have a rethink of when to put that out, with obviously competing against them. Subscription service available for exclusive content, all the Premier League games, plus like Rangers and Celtic is part of that too. This week it's out for free, but when there's big games, it will be part of the exclusive content. Hearts, Hibs, stuff like that will all be on there. Fantasy Football League might be a little bit late to join that with a cash prize to win, but if you fancy it, crack on. And just keep an eye out for that. And I'm not one of these people that say this a lot in these videos, but if you see this and you enjoy it, like it, subscribe, comment. It obviously helps me grow. I'm trying to grow on here and make this something that I do for work, and make this be my life, because I've been in football forever, and I've got a gut feeling that this is the path that I'm supposed to take. So I'm going to stop rambling for now. About 15 minutes in there. International break. Let's enjoy it. Let's see if Scotland can do well in the upcoming games. And as always, until the next one, have a good one. Peace.